Hello, dear foodie friends, and welcome to Kitchen Chat. I'm your host, Margaret McSweeney, and I'm so glad you're joining me here in the beautiful Middleby Residential Showroom in the Merchandise Mart, here with my favorite foodie friend and co-host, Chef Jamie Larita.
Always with you, Margaret.
And I am so excited for you to meet today's guest. As we all know, charity begins in the kitchen, and you are going to meet the co-founder of the Giving Kitchen in just a second. And she has an amazing story. And Jamie, we're going to need to get our Kleenex box out. It is
It's
just
going to be one of those.
Just so heartfelt. And here for the James Beard Awards, because they are the Humanitarian Award recipient, and we're so excited. But I'd like to introduce you to Jen Hidinger-Kendrick. Welcome to Kitchen Chat.
Thank you so much to both of you. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, this is special. And I know it has a sad beginning, but there's a beautiful story through this. Can you share with us how this began?
Absolutely. You know, my late husband was a chef. We actually are from Indianapolis, Indiana originally, so not too far away, and moved to Atlanta in 2004. And we were there for a little while before we decided that there was something kind of bigger calling our names. And as a way for us to be more ingrained in the city and for Ryan and I to maybe do something on our own one day, we decided to start a supper club that we called Prelude to Staple House, a restaurant that we thought one day we would want. And we would invite strangers into our home, and Ryan would cook a 5-course meal, and I would serve and host. And we talked about community and build a lot of amazing friendships during that time. That started back in 2009. And we did that for 4 years, all in anticipation of wanting to open up our dream restaurant, Staple House, little mom and pop shop, we thought. 4 years later, an unexpected moment happened in our lives, something that brought some very dark times on our family internally and our friends and family outward. Ryan was diagnosed with a late-stage terminal cancer diagnosis of gallbladder cancer. Right before Christmas of 2012, and that was a moment, like I said, a really dark and was a tragedy hit and crisis hit for us. But what happened after that really is what changed the trajectory, we believe, of the restaurant and food service industry of what we're seeing now with the work we're doing with Giving Kitchen. His mentors and bosses, our family and friends, really rallied behind us. They came to our aid. Ryan Turner, Chris Hall, and Todd Mussman, specifically Ryan's bosses at the time, and said, let us help you. And that's exactly what they did. They ended up rallying nearly 1,000 people at an event space. We called this fundraiser, they called this fundraiser Team Heidi, which is short for our last name of Hidinger. 40 restaurants and bartenders came together. There was a live auction and music, and it raised just shy of $300,000 in one night.
Whoa. Wow.
And that was really an impactful moment for us. It really changed the course of our perspective, offered a little bit of clarity, and just the sheer selflessness that we saw what a group of people could do when they really wanted to make a difference. And the impact that had on our lives internally was huge. And that was really what started the intent and the initial beliefs of what Giving Kitchen is today.
That's a lot of love right there.
Yeah.
So much love. So what exactly is Giving Kitchen? What is the mission? And
well, Giving Kitchen is an Atlanta-based nonprofit. That is where it started, but we serve the entire state of Georgia. We offer financial aid to food service workers that crosses the border of all food service. So catering, concessions, food trucks, full service restaurants, etc. We offer financial assistance in times of crisis. So whether that is an illness, a sickness, an injury, a death of an immediate family member, a natural disaster like a flood or fire, Giving Kitchen is there to be able to award financial assistance. And as a secondary resource, we offer stability. Giving Kitchen for us is really more about stability for food service than anything else. And within that financial grant program, we've been able to award over $2.5 million to over 1,600 members of our community throughout the state of Georgia. So we're really proud of that.
Just in Georgia?
So far, just in Georgia, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you looking to do more national?
I think one day, yes. I think this is something, Giving Kitchen is We talk about it a lot, even today, that we don't want anybody to wait for Giving Kitchen to be able to help, to offer charity, to offer some light in somebody's life. We are concentrating our efforts around our area right now. But again, one day, you never know, Giving Kitchen could be all over the country.
Yeah, I love the name, and if there's anything that we can do here in Chicago, I'd be more than happy to join hands with you on that.
Absolutely.
And we're excited to celebrate you at the James Beard Awards tonight. Jamie and I will be there, and I'm excited too. We're going to have a kitchen chat very shortly with the executive director, Brian Schroeder. So
I'm excited for you to hear everything that Brian has to say. He's been an amazing leader of our organization, and I have to say too, the leadership that we have within the organization, and that stems from our full-time staff to our board, to the donors and volunteers who spend so much time and to be advocates for this amazing organization. It makes us very proud to be able to receive this honor on such a scale and stage of which is James Beard Foundation.
Wow, it's amazing.
It is. It's profound for us. So
I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I have like tear coming down, like fighting that tear coming down. Don't do it. But it must be very, the word that's coming to me is bittersweet, but it must be something that's, to see something, to watch someone go through something like that and then look at it as an evolution and then a purpose.
Sure.
Yes.
It
must be something inside of you that is just really blooming.
I would completely agree. I think, the power and the inspiration that Ryan provided during his last year, it really changed the scope of how I live my life. My late husband is a major inspiration of mine. But it really truly is, early on he was one of those individuals that just, again, clarity and perspective change, and he realized that cancer and what he was going through was just a part of his journey, and he was able to vocalize that in a really beautiful way. And for myself, now as a widow, and for our community, it really just changed our scope on on humanity and just what we're able to provide. And Giving Kitchen is literally changing lives of food service workers.
Yes, and
it's palatable.
It is, and so impactful, and there's such an irony too within the mission that you're helping feed those who are feeding others.
Absolutely.
I'm still just wrapping my head around that. That's yes.
It's all about service. It's all about service.
Wow. Yeah. I'm just so excited for you to learn more about Giving Kitchen, and we will be having a chat with Brian. But I understand there's also even a deeper layer of James Beard as well. If you could share with us about your restaurant.
Absolutely. So the restaurant, Prelude to Staple House, did end up opening, and actually opened up about a year and a half after Ryan passed away. We call it Staple House. It opened September of 2015. And we've been very lucky to be here in Chicago actually a few times for James Beard. We were up for Best New Restaurant in 2016. And my brother-in-law, my business partner, Ryan Smith, was up for Best Chef Southeast in 2017, and again this year, 2019. So we are cheering him on. What makes Staple House really special as well is, right when Giving Kitchen was born and forming, we realized that the restaurant could really be something more impactful and more meaningful and more purpose-driven. And that's really kind of the foundation of what we call Staple House, is a purpose-driven restaurant. We are a for-profit subsidiary of Giving Kitchen, where our net profits at the end of every year are channeled back and donated to Giving Kitchen as a financial stream of support as well. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that our audience, can people donate to?
Absolutely, to Giving Kitchen.
Yeah.
givingkitchen.org. It's very simple. You can find out so much about what we're doing on our website. We offer our Stability Network program and highlights there that Brian will talk about a little bit later. But you can absolutely go and donate at givingkitchen.org and follow us on social media.
Yeah, that would be great. And it's such an amazing foundation, and I love that you're giving to the people that give.
Yes.
Because as someone who does that on a crazy level, you don't always know where to receive.
Sure.
And to have a foundation like that where your the ability is there is really important.
Yes, and with such dignity and empowerment, and what a great
We're
organization.
inspired every single day. I think that helps.
So how do you feel about you've got the award.
We do.
It's
This
not like,
feels very different this time around.
it's not like you're like anybody else. It's like sitting there today, like, eating their Cheerios, wondering.
Yes, we had a little rehearsal at Lyric Opera House earlier this morning, but yes, knowing we're going into this with this honor, this is way beyond, an honor for the 3 people who will be on stage tonight, we are accepting that on behalf of an amazing city of Atlanta. There is really no other city, in my mind, my opinion, that could have done what Atlanta did at that time. So this is a major honor for our city and beyond.
Oh, we are so proud of you. What an amazing story. I've been fighting back the tears the whole time.
I have major goosebumps.
What a major life.
Absolutely. It's just blessings out of something so tragic that you have really given. So
we're
this
going to
is
party
great.
tonight.
Yes,
we are.
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
Go to the after parties?
I think so.
Do you know
Probably
which one?
multiple.
Multiple.
I don't know.
You may or may not see me there.
There'll be a lot of champagne, I think.
Yes,
That's what's in store.
We will pop up the bubbly. But is there something you can share? Maybe one of our audience members is going through a difficult time, as you have. What words of wisdom and advice and encouragement could you share?
That's a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked that, because it's actually a really beautiful opening to talking about stability, which again, Brian will talk about a little bit more. But we realized really early on, after our first financial grant was given, that there were resources needed to provide more. Whether that's a specialist doctor or a mental health provider or another nonprofit who's able to, offer financial assistance, otherwise that we can connect them to. And so from that perspective, I would say, as far as dreaming big, it's really all about following your path and your heart, and realizing that you're here and you're perfect and you are on the right path. And again, for us as a team, it's really all about, that's really our inspiration every single day, is helping these food service workers who are in crisis. And these are stories that we hear of, children, in the NICU for 6 months at a time, or someone's in a motorcycle accident after work and, it's a hit and run, or, a family member passes away. These are real stories and things that we're really inspired by.
And the Giving Kitchen is there to help. Yes. Wow. Well, I'm excited about our conversation next with Brian, and thank you so much, Jen, for sharing from your heart. Yeah. So we're going to move it into the Viking Kitchen, the test kitchen.
We're going to move into the Viking Kitchen, but not before. I thank you, and we thank you one last time for sharing your story. What an incredible journey you've been on, and it's just the beginning.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Mm-hmm.
Such an inspiration. So let's go to the Viking Kitchen and have our kitchen chat with Brian Schroeder. Well, let's continue our conversation in the kitchen about Giving Kitchen. Here with the Executive Director, Brian Schroeder. Welcome to Kitchen Chat.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
It took a long time. I think when the announcement first came out, we tried to act like, we're going to be really cool about this. And then that lasted about a day. And after that, I was like, oh my God.
I'm proud of you that it was a full day. For me, it would have been like 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it's been one of the most meaningful things. And honestly, for the staff, it's fantastic. But for our board and the people who really gave so much to the organization when it first started, this is such a prideful moment for that group of people. And it really is an honor to be a part of receiving an award. But I'm so proud for Atlanta and for the people who believed in Giving Kitchen from the beginning, because we're an incredibly young organization to have had this kind of success and this kind of recognition.
Yes, and can you share with us about some of the specific programs? Because we were just so amazed to hear about what your organization does.
Yeah, so for Giving Kitchen, our promise to the food service community is stability. Mm-hmm. And that works itself out in 2 kind of core programs for Giving Kitchen. One is through our financial assistance program. So the idea is that for a food service worker, they have an injury, an illness, a death of a family member, or a housing crisis because of a flood or fire. Mm-hmm. We'll help to pay their living expenses until they're able to go back to work. Applying is a lot like applying for a scholarship. So we have an online application. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on your computer. If you're not tech savvy, you can come into the office, or we'll work with you over the phone. It's in English and it's in Spanish, and with a few key pieces of information, we're able to determine, how long they're going to be out, how much financial support they're going to need. So someone uploads their doctor's note, they upload their paycheck from their work, they upload their lease, and they upload their utility bills, and they tell us a little bit about who they are and what's going on, because we have to be a good steward of the donor dollar, and we've definitely caught people trying to take advantage of our system. But they move through a review process. And so Jamie, let's say if you were a chef, you are a chef.
Yes.
I am. And you got sick, and your doctor says he needs to miss 4 months of work until he can get better. We would provide, not you personally with a check, but a check for your landlord or your mortgage company, so that you can have 4 months of 4 months of rent, 4 months of utility support. So there's a roof over your head, the lights are on, the water's running, as you get better.
That's amazing. You said earlier before when we were chatting that in some cases it's a literal Hail Mary.
Yep.
That comes through. And how many, with that being said, it's like from the beginning until now, how many of those cases do you see in a week or a month, or how?
Yeah, so at any point in time, we're working with a few hundred people. And so, some people, it starts really quickly and then we don't hear from them. We have to call, and maybe it's that they've gotten better, or maybe it's that they've gotten worse and they really need someone to help them go through an application. But I would say once a week we do between 10 to 20 grants that go out the door that are helping someone make it through a crisis. And on average, it's actually a small amount of money that someone needs to make it through a crisis like this. It's about $1,800 on average. And we found the further we've gotten away from Atlanta, the lower the cost of living, the cheaper it is for us to perform a service. So as we've got into some of the smaller cities around Georgia, we can actually serve more people with less money. But to talk about our other program, which is something that I think has the capacity to influence a city like Chicago quicker maybe than the grants program, is what we call our stability network. And the first grant we gave away, we realized that people need more financial aid. And we realized that, and as we've grown, we've listened, and we've listened to our community, and we've heard people say, financial aid is great, it helps to keep the lights on, but what about my mental health? What about being able to go see a dentist or a physician or a counselor? Or we've even had people who are like, I need someone to help me walk my dog.
Right.
And so we've begun to build this resource network. It really started out as a back of a napkin of, okay, well, if we give someone a grant, we can also connect them to a food pantry, and has now become a really robust system of a program. It really stands on its own. So for the 1,600 people we've done grants, we've helped another 1,000 people with our referral program.
Amazing.
It's no surprise that you guys are the recipients of such a prestigious award, and I feel like you're at the cusp of this very organic evolution to this program. Well, what does your future look like? Can you forecast anything?
Well, so for us, Ryan Hidinger, when he left his family and friends with a charge, and he said, "Listen, I want you to help people like me." Help restaurant workers in crisis, help people in food service in crisis. And for the Giving Kitchen, we've spent the last 5 years figuring out what's that mean? What does it mean to help a restaurant worker in crisis? And so when we first started, it meant the grants program. We had just raised money for someone who is a close friend of ours, and so that was kind of the logical step for how we could continue to grow this. And to answer that question, what does it mean to help a restaurant worker in crisis? And as we've grown, we've realized we don't need to just be a financial service. We also need to be this referral program. And now we came into 2019 with the goal of really using our platform to speak to our industry and speak with our industry about self-care and about stability. And so that was a big theme for us coming into the year, and then all of a sudden the James Beard, the most unexpected thing happens, which is the James Beard Award, and that's where, as a staff, we took a big deep breath and said, okay, what can we have ready for this moment? And so we've actually, and we'll be announcing this tonight, so you guys get a little bit of a sneak preview. Announced first on your show, is that we have started to organize nationally relevant self-care and stability resources for anyone in food service. So it doesn't matter if you're in California or Colorado or New York, there's going to be resources on the Giving Kitchen website that are immediately relevant to helping restaurant workers before a crisis. Some of
so
it,
important. And
So-
the hot buttons, all the
Yes.
topics.
Yep.
Self-care, mental health.
Right. And
I mean,
suicide prevention,
Yep.
which is a very key one, and we've seen such sadness in this industry. And you'll have resources
Yeah,
for
so
that.
our whole team has gone through QPR training. It stands for question, persuade, and refer. And quite simply, it's the CPR of suicide prevention. And just like CPR, if I see someone who's on the sidewalk, I don't immediately start giving them open heart surgery. That's not what CPR prepares you for. That's not what QPR prepares you for someone who's considering suicide or considering self-harm. QPR is simply it's meant to give you a toolkit for helping someone who's going through maybe one of the toughest mental crises of their life. Normally, this training would cost about $30 per person to go through it online. And Giving Kitchen is going to make this resource available for free for any restaurant in the United States to be able to take this QPR suicide prevention training. So,
And QPR, what does that stand for again?
question, persuade, and refer.
Wow.
So,
yeah, there's a lot of being in the culinary field. There's a lot of people that suffer from anxiety, and there's lots of late nights, and they self-medicate, and they go through a lot of personal and a lot of artists, a lot of artist mentality, a lot of vulnerability. And I remember growing up through restaurants too, that a lot of this or none of this was available.
Right.
And now you're providing a major platform for people to get help. And it's so important because I know it's out there. It's bad.
And I think, for us, one of the things that's important to say is we recognize that we don't have all the answers. QPR, suicide prevention, is, almost the last step of making sure that someone who's talking about hurting themselves gets to someone who can help them. But we're just honored to join a movement that has so many other voices, so many other leaders from around the country. And because we do feel like self-care and sustainability and stability in food service it's the issue of our day, and it's it is really an honor for us to be a part of that conversation. And one of the other resources we're making available as well is about harassment. And one thing every chef should ask, and every owner should ask, is, does my restaurant have a harassment policy? And if not, come to Giving Kitchen's website. We've got the kind of a sample legal 2-page document. Now, of course, no legal document ever translates to the kitchen, so we actually have a prepared script that a chef or a general manager or bar manager can use at lineup that is very straightforward and just basically says, hey, we love food service. We love that we're rough around the edges. We love that we're not necessarily politically correct. It's why we work here. It's why we put up with all the BS. But that doesn't mean you have permission to touch someone who doesn't want to be touched, or to bully someone, to demean your coworkers. And that if we have more chefs and more leaders in the industry saying, not in my kitchen, that's how you make a difference.
Not in my kitchen.
Not in my kitchen.
Not in this kitchen.
Wow.
It's pretty safe.
Yes, this has just been so inspiring.
No, there's no
with
wonder.
you and Jen, and hearing about Giving Kitchen.
All
and
good ingredients over
yes,
there.
absolutely. We're excited to be there tonight. Jamie and I will be
cheering. We're counting on you guys.
Yes, and we'll make sure that we'll have photos and links and everything. But thank you so much, Brian, for all that you do, for making a difference, for saving lives too with these new initiatives.
Thank you. And we are really counting on people to take this training and to promote it amongst the industry, because it's all empty words tonight unless people actually take what we're offering and take advantage of it. And I promise you, set aside 45 minutes, take the training, it'll change your life, and one day you'll use it and you'll save someone in your life. Wow.
Powerful words. Well, we'll make sure we have the links. Thank you again, and thank you, dear Chef Jamie Laurita. Make sure you come visit Chef Jamie in the beautiful Middleby Residential Showroom here in the Merchandise Mart, Suite 137. Also visit thevikinglife.com for more inspiration for your kitchen, and please come visit me in my kitchen, kitchenchat.info. And always remember, dear foodie friends, to take a moment and savor the day.